Everybody, TGIF, welcome to another edition of Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance here with you. TK over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge, getting ready for a big weekend this summer. All the barbecuing and everything. Stop by Tremonti's, get all your meat over there in near Parkview Baptist, right off Airline Highway in Baton Rouge. Also, today we're going to talk a little bit, of course, about college baseball. We're now moved into the Super Regionals. I think the regional that I'm most interested in watching is the one that LSU just left. Southern Miss versus Ole Miss, the Battle of the Mississippi. So many great storylines there. LSU feels like they should probably be hosting this super regional this weekend. Instead, they don't, and now they'll be watching. But Southern Miss, of course, at home for the first time in the super, and then they've got taken on Ole Miss, their big in-state rival. And, of course, Ole Miss came out of that Coral Gables. I actually had a reporter ask me yesterday about that regional, in particularly Ole Miss side, and did I think Mike Bianco was on the hot seat? Did I think Mike Bianco was going to get fired if he didn't make it to Omaha? And the answer to that is I don't think so. TK, I'm going to step aside for a second. Tell us a little bit about what else we have going on today.
Yeah, and then we're going to do this. Come in here, Mandy from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. We're going to show you the whole ribeyes, Chairman's Reserve Platinum whole ribeyes, $11.99 a pound. They'll cut it how you want it cut. They'll pack it up for you, all that good stuff. $11.99 a pound for the Platinum Reserve whole Chairman's Reserve Platinum ribeye. $11.99 a pound. You don't want to miss it. Thank you, Mandy. Hey, we got a little prop there. Got a little something in there for the whole ribeye. Man, what a sale. What a deal. Going to be posted. It is posted on their Facebook page, and will be posted on my stuff later too.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Craig, Rachel, Hayden. Go ahead and like and share. Send the video. All right, TK. So some of the big stories, of course, that we want to get to. We'll talk a little bit more about LSU baseball. Is this is not a fun week. I mean, anytime you have exit meetings that aren't after a national championship, that's not fun. But this week in particular, it stings when you lose a 2-game series, basically you get swept and you're in the driver's seat. That doesn't happen for LSU baseball. I'm trying to think if it's ever happened at all, but it definitely doesn't happen if you're LSU baseball. And so to have those exit meetings, tough conversations, a lot of players finding out whether or not they're kind of wanted back. A lot of guys are letting coaches know if they maybe want to go into the portal. A lot of discussions about their future. So that's a tough office over there at Alex Box this week.
In fact, it's been reported Giovanni DiGiacomo has entered the transfer portal. As of yesterday, he was the only one actually in the portal, but, that could change.
Well, the thing about one question, Texas, East Carolina, or Virginia Tech, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M, Louisville. What's the question? Hang on. Go back to Hayden. Just one question. Is there a question at the end, or is he just referencing a bunch of those?
He's just referencing some regionals.
Yeah, some good regionals to watch. Obviously, for me personally, the storyline of East Carolina and Texas, East Carolina hosting a super regional. Cliff Godwin, the former LSU assistant and a good guy, friend of mine, pulling for him to get over the hump, get East Carolina to the College World Series. So East Carolina, Texas, one that I'll be watching with interest, flipping around a little bit on my app. And, of course, Nolan Cain, Texas A&M, Louisville. Storylines there, Texas A&M first-year coaching staff together, and they had never won the West in the SEC, and there they are, winners of the West. And they're kind of Cinderella. Nolan really, as a lot of coaches do, they kind of downplay their team as far as not thinking they're very good, and then all of a sudden they end up winning the West and kind of did it with mirrors, he thought, but don't tell them now because they're super confident. All right, so I want to talk about this for a second because it's so intriguing to me. I feel like it is a game of chicken going on right now. Let's see, will guys wait to make a decision on transferring after the MLB signing day has passed and they see what new guys are coming in?
The signing day
that's
later. It can be there's no signing day. Now, there's a draft Okay, and then if a kid walks in the classroom for the fall semester, then he can't sign. He's in class. So.
The open transfer portal date ends July 1, meaning guys that can transfer, wherever it ends July 1 without, sitting out or anything like that. So they have to July 1. The draft is in the middle of July. So that's not going to be the case. Now, you can always transfer after and whenever you want, but you don't necessarily get the free transfer and be eligible right away deal. So that's July 1 is the most important date for transfer portal. And then, of course, the draft will happen July 17th, and then you'll have another wave of something if something weird happens in the draft, unexpected. But Giovanni DiGiacomo entering the transfer portal. Remember, he's the left-handed hitting outfielder with a tremendous amount of speed from Florida. Never quite became as good of a player as I thought he would become. He was very highly touted, has a tremendous skill set. I think one of the things he had, nagging injuries, that sort of thing.
Let me answer Chance's question there. There's no data. When the team drafts you, they hold your rights for 1 year. Like Kumar Rocker, the Vanderbilt pitcher, he was drafted last year. They wouldn't give him the money he wanted because of some possible injuries. So he remained property of the Mets, and now he's not property of the Mets because the calendar year from when he was drafted expired. You can sign any time in that calendar year.
There is exactly. It's just again, it's the free transfer portal deal is July 1, and then you go in that portal, and then after that you can transfer, but you may have to sit out a year depending on your circumstances. But Giovanni, I really was one that was in his camp for early on in his career and thought, let the guy play, let him figure out his strike zone issue never worked out. Tommy, he swung at balls way up in the zone, didn't have really good decision making when it came to swinging at strikes, and then things start to snowball. Your confidence starts to wane a little bit, and then you have some nagging injuries, and so not a surprise that he is going to leave because you got Dylan Cruz back in center field. You obviously have Pearson that's back in the outfield. Dugas technically could be back if he wants to, and that to me is going to be an interesting storyline of what he does and what they do this summer with Dugas, who only hit 5 home runs this year mostly because he had a down year and he was hurt, but he had 19 home runs the year before. So which one is he? Is he the 5 homer guy? Is he the 19 homer guy? And I think it's probably somewhere in the middle is probably where he's at. Talk to me about the LIV. Well, first off, this golf tour that's challenging the PGA. That's now the talk of the world this week because their first event started yesterday. What does LIV stand for?
LIV is basically the Roman numeral 54 because all their tournaments are 54-hole events. That's where the name comes from. It's an individual and a team competition wrapped in one, and the money is through the roof. PGA Tour officially suspended the 17 members of the PGA Tour who are playing this week. Bryson DeChambeau is committed to a future LIV event, and the money is just insanely through the roof. There are going to be guys who are going to go to LIV Tour and make more money in a month than they've made in their career. I don't mean year. I'm talking career, So, do you fault somebody for following the money? It's happening with NIL deals all the way up to, the commissioner of the PGA Tour, Jay Monahan. He took the job because it was $20 million a year salary. I mean, movie actors take movies because they're getting paid $20 million to be in the movie. It's all about the money. I think the unintended consequences here would be interesting. The PGA Tour may never be the same. Now, that's a guess, but I don't think it's ever going to be the same because, Ronnie, as you and I were talking before the tape, if you're Dustin Johnson, okay, or you're Ricky Fowler, Patrick Reed, and you can go play this LIV Tour and make 20 times the money you've already made, and you can still play all of the majors except for the PGA Championship and the Players Championship. You can still play the British Open, the U.S. Open, and the Masters. Now, the Masters is yet to make a comment on their stance on this. They do what they want to do when they want to do it. So, they haven't said anything yet whether Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson can still come play at the Masters. And then Sergio Garcia, he's in the LIV Tour, and he's a Masters winner. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to unfold and unpack as we go forward.
Yeah, I hear you on that. money talks and everything else walks, right? And you're not worried about the check cashing, or that they're going to run out one day.
No, I
So
don't think they are.
This is really going to be interesting because there's a trench being built in the between, and there are sides being taken, and people are having to make decisions, whether it's sponsors, golfers, venues, every kind of company under the sun that deals with the PGA, or any kind of player that deals with the PGA, is having to make a decision. Which side of the fence do I choose? Because the PGA is saying to the world, you choose one or the other. And if you're not with us, you're against us. And so, companies are having to make a decision. Sponsorships are having to make a decision on, okay, do we think Live is here to stay? Do we stay with, because I think the smart choice is you stay with the PGA. If you're a sponsor, if you're a vendor, if you're something like that, you stay with the PGA till you get to a point where either Live's offering you more money than what you're making with the PGA, or you go, you know what? Live is here to stay. Like, I believe now that they're not really going to go anywhere. And so, hey, I'm going to jump to them and hope that, I'm going to do business with them. And the PGA is going to have to give in, because it's either going to work out that Live is not going to be an option in a couple of years. Maybe they stick around. Maybe they get a few players here or there. But do you think, Tommy, that tour can survive with 10, 15 top players out of the top, say 30, 40, if that's all you have, and the rest is just the rest?
Well, I think they can survive, and I think it's a good question. How long will they survive? Supposedly, they got $500 billion, which you would think would last a while. We've seen professional sports things come and go. Arena football, although they had a long run. XFL, USFL, the fan league. I mean, there's been lots of leagues attempted in the last bunch of decades, but staying there over time. WNBA has been around a lot longer than I thought they were. In fact, you want to hear a funny story. When the WNBA started, that was the first year that John Brady was hired at LSU, and I made a comment back in the old days on the radio. I said, what's going to last longer, the WNBA or John Brady at LSU? Well, obviously, the WNBA outlasted him. Brady had a great run, went to a Final Four. So the question, I think Live's not going to go away. I think the PGA Tour, and this is, again, we're going to unpack stuff on this story going forward, maybe for a year, maybe for longer, to see what goes on here. And then what about the next generation of great golfers? All these golfers that are great at the collegiate level now, or on the Corn Ferry Tour, and who are going to become the superstars. Because there was a time when we never heard of Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. I mean, all these guys, surfaced from somewhere. What about that next wave? Do they go right to Live because of the money? It's all about the money. Money talks, bullshit walks. We know that that's life. In anything, not just sports. It's in business. It happens every day. How many businesses sell because they get offered X amount of money for their company, and they say, hey, I'll take it. I'm out of here.
Some reaction here that I'm seeing online. Let's see. What is a couple questions? What is the PGA may have to buckle and make some changes to appease golfers? They're not going to right now. Again, it's a game of chicken that they're playing, but I do think that the money and the commitment from the Live Tour is going to be so strong that the PGA is going to eventually have to, because sponsors, what's going to drive it is going to be the Zurich, and it's going to be the events that drive it and say, hey man, we got to have the top golfers in our events. And so you got to, PGA, open up your policies.
That's what's going to happen. What happens to the Zurich Classic and the Milwaukee Open and the Greater Greensboro Open and all these tournaments? What happens to that event out in Phoenix, that waste management tournament with that par 3 that's a stadium now, And then an interesting point came up on the Dan Patrick Show. All right, U.S. Open's next week. How will the fans react to a Phil Mickelson or a Dustin Johnson? Are they going to applaud him like, hey, glad to see you? Or are they going to boo him? I mean, are they going to
They're probably going to boo him just because they're considered the villain. It's almost like wrestling. You got the good guy and the bad guy. And I don't know that that's a bad thing, Tommy. I know it's not protocol, but it's not a bad thing to have good guys and bad guys. It makes it interesting. And that's what you want it to be. You want golf to be interesting, not just for the hardcore golfer.
Well, and the other thing, too, Byron pointed this out, but the effect on the Ryder Cup, the President's Cup. I mean, the Ryder Cup. I mean, that's kind of put on by the Royal and Ancient and PGA Tour. That's a joint event. Like we said Wednesday, the Masters is not a PGA Tour event. The USGA puts on the U.S. Open. The Royal and Ancient puts on the British Open. So, there's a lot of layers here. Wow, it's going to be a story.
Couple quick things here. Chance saying, I have no problem with LIV. People take money from China all the time. Worst human rights group around. Remember, a lot of people are making a big deal that LIV's backed by the Saudis and the government. And there's some things, obviously, that in their checkered past. Exactly. China is no different, but we have no problem doing business and taking things from them. We can't start dictating that or the other. It's almost like saying, this guy or that guy shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because their crime was worse than another. What is Dugas draft stock? We talked about Gavin Dugas, how he has another year of eligibility remaining for LSU baseball. I'm not talking about whether he comes back or not having to do a draft. There's only 20 rounds in the draft. It's an international draft this year with players all over the world. So I don't even know that he's a draftable guy other than maybe super late because they know he's going to sign for a dollar. I just think the guy's been there forever. What does he want to do? Does he want to graduate and move on with his life? Does he want to transfer to another place and be a star? Or is he just, hey, I'll just take whatever and sign, whether I get drafted or not, and sign free agent because, man, I've been here too long and I'm older and it's time for me to go. All those things come through. Everybody has different thoughts on what to do. So it's not just a draft decision when it comes to Gavin Dugas. It's a Jay Johnson decision. Hey, I've got these young studs coming in or transfers that I might think are better. He may be thinking, I don't fit in with the new staff. Hey, I've been here too long. I mean, there's all kind of reasons why things happen. Byron Painter saying my initial reaction is I don't like the chasing dollars instead of the girl that brought him to the dance. Well, Byron, that's nice and old school way of thinking that there's this loyalty out there. But, loyalty matters when it's like the same amount of money. But it's not when it's like this. When it's LIV and PGA, then loyalty goes out the window. And then let's see. Pat Byron also saying, however, they're getting paid a lot to basically play in Ryder Cup style events all the time. But I do see the PGA adjusting to making some of the events more exciting. I know a lot of golf talk here on this show, and we don't normally do that. But, hey, this is an international story. It is a game of chicken. It is a business negotiation. I can't wait to see how this thing plays out. I can't wait to see how many players defect the PGA Tour because I think, Tommy, they believe, hey, if enough of us leave, all the studs leave or enough of the studs leave, PJ's got to come around. They have to.
No, this is a major story because let's draw the parallel. What if Mike Trout and, a bunch of Major League Baseball players go play in another league? Or what if, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady all go play in another league? That's the parallel to what's happened to the PGA Tour. And we don't know the answer today. The dust is nowhere near settled. So we'll just have to wait and see. But hey, like we said, LIV Golf, you got super regionals on the way to the College World Series in Omaha, 5 SEC teams out of the 16 teams in the super regionals, tons of great storylines, and it's going to be fun. Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning, 10 to 12, and let me point out, Hold the Rope Radio will be tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. with Skip Bertman and Dan Canaveri because of Rougarou baseball being on ESPN 104.5 on Saturday and Sunday night, 7 o'clock first pitch.
All right. Make sure you check us out, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We'll have a lot of college baseball reaction to the Super Regionals on Monday. Don't forget also Baton Rouge Rougarou back in action, trying to knock off that 3-game losing streak right now. Rougarou 4-5 on the season. Play Saturday and Sunday at Pete Goolsbee Field, 7 p.m. starts. Saturday night, Cheeseburger in Paradise. Saturday, $2 cheeseburgers, half-price frozen margaritas. Come on out there, check it out on Saturday. Also, on Sunday, we've got Sunday, we're honoring our heroes for all first responders, past, present, military, police, nurses, you name it, with an ID. You and a guest get in free, past or present. So come on by, and we'll have some other special things going on at the merchandise table. That is going to be Saturday and Sunday, Baton Rouge Rougarou game, 7 o'clock at Pete Goolsbee Field. Check it all out at brrougarou.com. Get your tickets now. Beat the line. Just get them. brrougarou.com. We hope to see you there at the ballpark. And go ahead, TK.
Connect on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, got TikTok as well. That's not on the little logo on the screen, but you need to connect, share, like, follow, check in at Pete Goldsby Field when you get out there, and that'd be a good thing. So I need to get some cheeseburgers delivered to the press box Saturday, Ronnie. Can I put that order in?
You can. Chris's specialty meats cheeseburgers as well. Chris's specialty meats here in Baton Rouge, the best homemade cheese hamburgers around, and that's what we sell out at the ballpark. And you can get them for $2 on Saturday for our special night. We'll be playing Jimmy Buffett music, obviously in honor of Cheeseburger in Paradise and Bob Marley. A lot of island music on Saturday. So good time had by all. And hey, look, if it's a little too warm, you ain't gonna worry about it. We got the Sunbelt Cool Zone right there, right behind the first base dugout. The only refrigerated, air-conditioned suite for fans in America to watch baseball. You go in there, it's anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees. You go sit in that refrigerated box for a little while, cool off. Got the stadium seating in there. It is amazing. You'll be talking about it and telling your friends if you go check it out once at a Rougarou game in Baton Rouge. Rachel, she was there with the kids the other night. Good picture, by the way, Rachel, with Prince there on stilts. It was so fun. I appreciate you coming out. And can I put that order in for the umpires this weekend, Brandon? There you go. All right. All right. We'll take a break, but we'll be back on Monday. TK, what you got at Tremonti's?
Yeah, don't forget Tremonti's. The Platinum Chairman's Reserve ribeye, $11.99 a pound. They'll cut them as thick as you want them. They'll pack them up. If you want 2, you want 4. They'll cut it for you. No extra charge on all that. The Chairman's Reserve Platinum whole ribeye is $11.99 a pound. That's the best deal in town. Check it out. Barbecue ribs for lunch tomorrow. Don't forget Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning, 10 to 12. Hold the Rope Radio tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And I'm ready for some Rougarou to turn things around, get on a winning streak starting Saturday and Sunday night against the Seguin River Monsters from Seguin, Texas. All right, Ronnie, I know we're busy. We got to get rolling, man.
All right.